Hi there and welcome back. Are you in a situation where you have to provide corrective feedback to a colleague but don't know how to go about this without hurting their feelings? Or do you want to help a colleague of yours better their performance and you are unsure how to go about this discussion? In this video, we will answer these questions and much more. I will share with you 7 quality tips to provide corrective feedback. If you follow these 7 tips when giving corrective feedback, then I can assure you that you will walk away from the conversation feeling accomplished and your colleague will thank you for the feedback. So let's begin. Our goal for providing corrective feedback is to help the person improve their performance. Remember, this is a selfless act and the person at the receiving end should be receiving more value from the conversation than you. As long as this is the goal, then you are on the right track. If you are providing someone corrective feedback to make them feel small or demean them, then this video is not for you. The feedback should be given in a constructive way so that it can be used as a tool for growth. When we provide corrective feedback, we are giving the individual a chance to change their behavior for the better and not let their mistakes linger. Feedback can come in a variety of forms, such as verbal or written. It is important to provide feedback at certain points in time and provide enough information to allow the individual to take steps towards improvement. When we provide corrective feedback to employees, we are raising their awareness about certain shortcomings in their performance, and we are providing them with the knowledge and skills to help enhance their overall performance. Let's begin with tip number 1. Avoid giving unsolicited advice. Many people don't believe that feedback is constructive. A third of all responders have received unsolicited feedback, which can feel very negative and overwhelming. If your direct reportee doesn't ask for feedback directly, make sure you take the first step and ask them if, when, and how they would prefer to receive it. By doing this, the employee feels like they have a choice and will feel like they are in power of the discussion. This will make them more receptive to the feedback. The more empowered staff are, the more they will feel comfortable about receiving feedback, and this will help contribute to a better workplace experience. Tip number 2, do not assume. Assumptions in the workplace can lead to a lot of miscommunication, and as leaders, we must do the hard work and observe rather than assume. After all, observing is more time consuming, however, the right and more productive approach. So let's look at an assumption. Daisy has been reporting 30 minutes late to her desk every day for the last 2 weeks. So we assume she is unprofessional. In fact, Daisy has been working on the project with the recruitment team, which you as her leader had assigned to her. She has been visiting the recruitment office every day 30 minutes prior to reporting to her desk. Only when you know all the facts must you set out to give recommendations or provide corrective feedback. Do not merely assume. Wrong assumptions don't do much good for your employees and they make you look bad too. Hence, we must avoid assuming. Tip number 3. Be specific, not vague. Be specific and provide feedback which consists of a solution to help better the performance of the employee. Making general statements like "you need to improve" or "the lesson plan you submitted could be better" doesn't help the employee in any way because it is vague. This will leave the employee even more confused as to what improvement in their work are you expecting to see. Give specific directions on how the work can be improved and provide tips on what could have been done differently. For example, I noticed you are behind schedule with your last 2 tasks. I would like to help you manage your time so you can fit in each of your activities without being late. Tip number 4. More objective, less subjective. Example 1. You need to be more patient. Example 2. I observed that when speaking with the receptionist, you were rolling your eyes and also raised your voice when replying to her. If we are subjective, then the employee will feel like we are attacking their personality and may get defensive. This also allows the employee to take actionable steps to help improve his or her performance. Tip number 5. Ensure the conversation is a discussion. Lecturing someone usually isn't the best way to help them improve an employee's performance. You might be feeling stressed after trying this, but it's unlikely you will change their mind. When it comes to discussing difficult issues, always make sure that you are aware that your conversation partner may be vulnerable and do not talk down to them. Instead, try engaging with them in a dialogue and see what happens. Ask more questions and be ready to use your active listening skills. Encourage the employee to ask questions and clarify any doubts or concerns they have after they have heard your feedback. Finally, the resolution or developmental plan should be developed by input from both parties. Tip number 6. Keep it private. Never conduct a corrective feedback discussion in public, ever. Some people are more comfortable receiving feedback privately, even if it is positive or a pat on the back. In a group meeting, compliments can make them feel self-conscious or uncomfortable. You can also consider providing feedback to employees in a written response. This gives time for reflection and a thoughtful response. Giving feedback is often uncomfortable for both the giver and the receiver. Instead of conducting the discussion in your office or the meeting room, try talking in a more informal area to help alleviate some of the stress. Maybe the pantry or the breakout room if you have one, as long as these are not occupied by anyone else. Tip number 7. Demonstrate empathy. We need to be sensitive when pointing out gaps in someone's knowledge or skills. They may have some intense reactions that could be misinterpreted as defensiveness. If you have been made to bear the brunt of your colleague's difficult behavior, it's important to recognize that you will need empathy and not be frustrated while having this discussion with your colleague. Recognize that you may need to give your colleague some space before approaching them with feedback. Try not to make them feel as if they are being physically caged in. Try and find an alternative way for you to communicate your message that does not risk shocking or hurting your colleague. Remember, we will give someone corrective feedback only if we care about that person. We will then take the time to prepare for the discussion and ensure that we will be adding value to that person's performance. If we don't care about bettering our colleague's performance, then the easiest thing to do is let them keep making the same mistakes and don't provide them with feedback. If you found value in this video, then like, share and subscribe. I post HR and leadership related videos every week. I will see you in the next video.